Hi, everyone, and thanks for being with me on my show. It's one of these issues that keeps getting under my skin, and I can't get rid of it no matter how hard I try. And this is in relation to the right wing sovereign citizen type people in this world who I find uh, unbelievable in the terms of the beliefs that they have and the way they believe that their power, their authority, and their truth telling is the only way to go. That there is no other way of looking at the world apart from the way they look at it. So, one of the things that interests me is it isn't that they haven't got things that they need to talk about that have got value, except I never hear them talking about homelessness. I never hear them talking about the inadequacies that sit in our system in terms of benefits being paid. I never hear them talking about things which they could talk about at length, which are things like robo-debt and how the government distorted what it was that they wanted to do and how they wanted to impose themselves on our community in the most illegal way possible, which would fit with the sorts of things that they generally like to talk about. But they don't. They seem to focus on bizarre things, as I'm about to show you, which is particularly in relation to the Constitution. So they have a view that their understanding of the Constitution is the only understanding that there needs to be. That for whatever reason, without any qualifications, they have been able to decipher the Constitution in ways which fit with their value system. Now, I'm always amazed that they don't have anyone who is a legal scholar or an academic or something, so that these pseudo experts around the way the Constitution is constructed and how it does or does not fit with them. So I'm going to play a portion of this video that Guru and Kaz, and so there's this woman by the name of Jackie Dundee who appears on this video. And Jackie is one of these pseudo-legal experts who knows all that there is to know about the Constitution. I would suggest that someone like Jackie goes off and gets a legal degree, and then she might be able to argue her argument in a more reasonable, rational fashion than what she does. It also would give her the authority to be able to make her statements in an informed way. However, that is unlikely because then people like Jackie would then automatically become part of the deep state, and that would not fit with who they believe they are. So this is Jackie talking about the Constitution and the government, and let's hear what she has to say.
Jack.
Hello, how are you guys?
Yeah, ready for another round, I suppose, It's the way it is, isn't it? Every day is just getting up to fight another round in this friggin' ridiculous friggin' fight we're in, mate,
Yeah, listen to a whole lot more bullshit coming from this government. Look, this is the thing, that this government has had a blatant and utter disdain for the Constitution for decades. Now, they want to start talking Constitution about adding another section, 129, to the Constitution via a...
Now, I need to say I have not looked at the Constitution recently. It hasn't changed, I'm quite sure. May change come October, but hasn't changed at this point. So all governments. So this government. So does this government refer to the Albanese government, or is that all governments are contravening the Constitution? So she pulls out this section of the Constitution. Admittedly, I haven't looked at it. But probably doesn't. But probably in reality, it doesn't make all that much sense.
Referendum that is going to be just as invalid, fraudulent, and rigged as every other bloody referendum and election. It's all utter bullshit. And this voice business, The Voice, this is only going to bring more hardship on the people. It's going to allow them to tax us more. Allegedly with it going to First Nations. That won't be the case at all. If they're so concerned, why don't they... Look,
it's a handover to the UN.
This is the other thing. The treaty that was signed with the UN back in the 40s is invalid. That is not something a government can do without the people's say. That is
I have no idea what treaty she's talking about. She's probably talking about some charter that we may have signed, of which we signed many. And I don't know. Maybe that's what she's referring to.
us whether or not we wanted to be involved with a foreign power. You know, all of this rubbish, out of the 6.5 million approximate bits of statute and legislation that we have in this country, you can bet 6,400,000 of it is all unconstitutional. And all it is there is...
So no, I don't know where she gets that figure from. She just dreamed it up. But if things are unconstitutional, there is a place you can go to have that contested. But, of course, they're not going to go there.
To
6 million of
enable them or give the illusion that they are lawfully fining us, persecuting us, taxing us, etc. That's all it has ever been about. Making it harder for Australians. It's insanity. And in particular, I sent through to Kaz earlier, like during the pandemic, this bloody COVID bullshit, they were in utter breach of so many sections of the Constitution. All of the Health Act.
Anyway, this is all crap because the government did change the legislation to give the health minister certain powers during that particular time. It wasn't unconstitutional. If it was, I'm sure there would have been organisations and others with a little bit more clout than what these dickheads have that would have been able to do something about it. So we had this issue which was in reference to the Forest of the Fallen, which is a right-wing propaganda effort to highlight those people that they believe have died as a result of being vaccinated. And so they go to these places and they put up these A4 pieces of paper that have identified these particular people. Now, in Mildura, apparently, a group of sovereign citizens have done just that. And as a result of that, someone from the local council has come along to remove them. And of course, as is the case, this stuff gets videoed. And here the guys are playing that very video. And let's just listen to what they have to say. I think it's quite fascinating. And I'll talk about it later.
Brother? They never give us a permit.
That's not my decision to make, I'm sorry.
But these are our brothers and sisters who've been injured or killed by the vaccine. You realise that?
Yeah. Sorry. You're sorry? I'm sorry for what you're doing, mate, because I think that you're following the wrong orders. We put them up, we will take them down.
They submitted their own pictures, their own stories. They just want to be recognised for the pain and suffering they've gone through. Some of them have died, so the ones with the flowers, they're people that have died, so that's basically a people shrine, really.
You understand?
You understand?
I don't think you do, mate. I don't really think you do.
So now the interesting aspect of all of this is that they believe that they can go into public lands and do whatever it is that they want to do. Now, I can't go into a public land and put up an advertising sign, for example, advertising my YouTube channel, for example. I can't do any of that. I can't use that public land for my own personal benefit. And also, you know, and these public lands, kids play, people kick footballs around, there's play equipment, there's lots of other things that happen on these public lands. Now, if you've got these random pieces of stick stuck up with pieces of paper on them, this becomes a danger to the public. So what would happen if a kid ran through there, got speared by one of these flimsy pieces of stick that they have with this paper on them? What would happen then? You know, who's responsible? Is the local government responsible? Are the people that put those sticks up, are they responsible? Well, I would suggest at the end of the day, the local government would be responsible. So here they are doing their job, ensuring that this place is available to the public, that it shouldn't be taken over by a particular group unless you're authorised to do so. So if you want to have a party and you want to have bans and activities and other things, then you have to get approval from the government. But these people, for whatever reason, think that they can control all of this, that they are the ones who can determine what can or cannot be done because they're so-called public lands. They do not have the authority to do what it is that they're doing here. I personally see it as extremely dangerous, and I think they're crazy for thinking that they can get away with it, and that for whatever reason they're doing a public service. They're not. Stand on the footpath maybe and wave those things, but don't stand on public property and interfere with what could be other people enjoying that public space. Just do not do it. It's as simple as that.